Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to our Stamp It Your Way for May. I'm Betsy Crider. I'm with BCreative Stamping, and I'm in Pennsylvania.
And I'm Mary Ellen Stites, and I'm with Create With Me, and I'm in Illinois.
We are super excited to be with you. This is May. Notice my sunshiny colors. You see my sunshiny colors right here?
Yes. Yeah, you did great. Look at all that color you got
I
on,
know.
pink and yellow. Very
I'm
proud of
doing it
you.
on purpose because Pennsylvania right now is so cold. I've had to turn on my furnace. So I am
No,
hoping
say it isn't
that
so.
this will bring the sunshine in the summer my way. That's my hope.
Yeah, for sure. It's inevitable. It's coming, B. That's
It's coming.
it's inevitable. It's on its
It's
way.
like, oh my
It's
gosh,
been,
is the rain ever going
yeah.
to end?
Yeah, it's been quite a wet spring. It's really been it's kind of soggy here. I mean, we got the garden in, so that was good, and the rain doesn't bother me. But it's just, yeah, it's been soggy. We're ready for sunshine too.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought I'd wear my sunshine today just to
I
kind of
appreciate that.
cheer us up a little bit and get us out of this rainy gloom. May is an amazing month. For anybody that doesn't have one, Mary Ellen's going to show you the new annual catalog.
Yes, I
We
know.
do have the new annual catalog out. It was just released in May. So if you do not have that little guy right there, make sure you contact one of us and we will make sure to get you one. It's a pretty amazing book. Whether you are a stamper, whether or not you're a card maker or a scrapbooker, there's a ton of scrapbooking in this catalog, which is amazing.
Yeah, there really is. I love this catalog. I have really enjoyed it, and this suite that we're going to be showcasing here in a few minutes is so beautiful. I mean, I think this is the one that all my friends have been ooh-eyeing about, and so I'm excited to be showing it to you guys.
It is. It's an amazing suite of product. Just so you know, if you have that catalog and you're making your shopping list, now is the perfect time to take advantage of a join deal that Stampin' Up is running. It runs through the end of May, so you still have a couple more days to take advantage of it. You get to choose $169 worth of product. $169 worth of product.
Is this 165, isn't it?
It's 165. Look at me giving away $4 extra. Phew, 165.
It's okay, but I think it's 165.
I'm so glad she's here because I would just be a mess. 165, $165 worth of product for only $99. That's it. So it's $165 worth of product. You choose what you want. You get business products, whether you decide to run a business or not. You get a free paper pumpkin and it's free shipping. So it's $99 plus a little bit of tax. That's it.
I had a friend come to class yesterday, and she just signed up, and she said, "This is," and it may kind of I kind of listened to her, and I thought, yeah, you're right. Like I didn't think about this, but she goes, I made my list for club, and it was like $77. Okay, so there was like this, I wanted this bundle and I wanted this paper, and it was $77, and I thought, for $20 more, basically, I could get $165 and get everything I wanted that was on my list. And I was like, yeah, sometimes you don't think about it. And she goes, and that free shipping. I mean, she goes, that was it right there. Cause she goes, it would have been 77 plus shipping plus tax, and we would have almost been at 99. So she said 99 plus tax, which is, another $10 or whatever. And she said, then it was a no-brainer. And I thought, yeah, that was a good point. Something I hadn't thought about. So if you've got a big wish list, and you don't have to do what Betsy and I do, you don't. You could just be someone who loves to stamp and create, whether it's for you or for other people. That's all that matters. So.
Yeah, exactly. I always like to say there's no Stampin' Police. So at the end of at the end of being you actually get to be a demonstrator for, I think it's May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah. So you actually get to be a demonstrator for almost 6 months.
Yeah.
Now you're signing up towards the end of May, so you don't get a lot there, but essentially 6 months, you can be a demonstrator and never have to buy anything else.
Yeah.
And at the end, you get all the perks of being a demonstrator. And at the end of that 6 months, if you decide you don't want to stay, you get dropped out of active status, and you keep everything you got, and nobody's coming to get you, and nobody's coming to take your supplies away. So it's a pretty good deal.
It definitely is. And in those 6 months, we're going to have little specials happens all the time, whether it's free shipping or something. And as a
Sneak
demonstrator,
peeks,
sneak peeks are huge. Yeah.
pre-orders. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a mini catalog coming out later in the summer. And so that's definitely something to take advantage of, being a part of the community. And I was going to say something else, and now I lost my train of thought, but just, if you do decide, a special comes up, you're going to get a discount. So you'll get a discount on that. You get 20% off automatically. So it's a little shopping discount for you too. So.
Absolutely. This is the month. If you're going to do it this month, because this is one of the best deals I've seen them offer.
Yeah, it is definitely the best. I mean, I've been doing this for 22 years, and it's by far the best deal. I mean, some people go, "Oh, it's this or that," and I'm going, "No, this is by far the best." I mean, this is a fantastic deal. So take advantage.
Yeah.
Take advantage before it's gone. It's gone at the end of May. So
exactly. And if you did not get this suite, you could add this suite to your shopping list.
yes, for sure.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're
Be
going to
part
give
of
you
the
some
sale.
ideas today. We're going to give you 4 different card ideas. The way Stamp It Your Way works is that we create projects using a specific bundle, and we create projects. And if you sign up for the kit in the beginning of each month, then you get all the paper you need to create your projects. We also throw in some free product. Mary Ellen's going to show you what we gave this month. We should throw in some free product. We give you everything you need to make 2 of each of those 4 projects. And you can, it's called Stamp It Your Way, because if you don't have the bundle we're using, you can always use something that you have at home and stamp it your way. You don't necessarily have to do it like we do.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I'm excited to show you everything because I think this is, like I said, I think I was thinking that I saw something. This was the #1 suite.
It might be.
I was thinking maybe it was. So
it might be the paper. I'm in love with the paper.
It's all about the paper. I mean, this is one of those. Lately, these 6x6 paper has been dynamic. I mean, they've been the showstopper. So yeah, this is no different for sure. So
true works of art. Yeah, you got it. All right. Well, let's go down to your desk and let's get started. How about it?
I can't wait. Sounds good.
Yay. Okay. Hold on, everybody.
Okay, so I just opened up the catalog to show you this spread of the beautiful gallery suite. It is just beautiful. I mean, if you can look at some of these papers, they're just frameable artwork, all in and of themselves. I mean, there's some gorgeous projects here, but the paper is just beautiful. So it is a 2-bundle suite. This beautiful gallery suite is a 2-bundle suite. We are featuring the gallery blooms, but as you notice here, and I'm going to show you the stamp set, there's no words. So we use some of the words from the beautiful motif stamp set, but we did not use any of the dies. And so that way, if you don't have the beautiful motifs, you could just pick up a greeting of your choice out of your stamping supplies to use on these projects, right, Betsy?
Yep, stamp it your way, baby.
Yeah. So then there's paper in the suite. There's a 2-bundle suite. There's a 2-bundles collection. There's some paper, a damask folder, and some embellishments and some ribbon. But I'm going to show you each of those things, starting with the stamp sets. Here's the 2 stamp sets right here. Gallery blooms and beautiful motifs. You can see them just a little bit better. I've got a little bit of glare, but I think you can catch those fine. And then the dies are, again, so pretty. There's a lot. Sometimes you think, oh, I know what the dies look like, but when there's a frame, there's a double frame here. And then there's some standalone florals. There's some that cut out the images. And then there's a couple of greenery, and here's a couple more. So just these standalone ones are ones that you wouldn't think about when you're looking at the stamp set. You've got something that cuts these out, but then you've got this beautiful frame and these little standalone dies. And then the damask folder, and I know you won't be able to really see it. I don't have anything here to put inside, but you'll see it as we do our projects. It's just a beautiful damask raised design, an all over design, just like that. But then, like I said, star of the show this beautiful paper, and I just want to show you. I'm going to show you each work of art. Gorgeous.
You could, yeah, you could frame so many of these and just, I mean, just put them on your wall. I mean, it's just gorgeous.
I mean, look at that. That's a
Yeah.
drawing. Beautiful. There's vintage looks, acrylic paints, watercolors, and oil. Gorgeous. Love it.
Yeah. It's just amazing, right?
Yeah, and this is one I'm going to be using today. And then the other sides are, they're really nice prints. I love this one. The colors are gorgeous. It's a little black and white using the dye, just a nice cloud cover background, a little acrylic painted. There's another little sketchy one, the damask design done on a little bit of pool party. There's a brush stroke. There's a really soft, almost like wallpaper. You'd see another brush stroke and pecan pie, little map, and then another, just a nice background. So if you don't, if there's one design you say, oh, I don't really love that one. Well, but I love the back. So you're going to love one or the other. So yeah, no problem. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now I've misplaced all my things. No, I'm just kidding. I got it right here. I got it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my first card, and I am using this design right here. It's like a little cottage out in oh, I told you before, I think I've said that it reminds me of like you're in Ireland or Scotland, and over here you're going to go over and there's going to be a beautiful water out there. And so I'm going to use this, and I'm going to feature this paper, almost all this paper. So in your packet, you've got a piece of Lost Lagoon. This is 8.5 by 5.5, a couple pieces of vanilla, and then we pre-cut a little Nested Essential. I was just looking, yeah, Nested Essential flagged banner die for you for your greeting, and then an envelope. What I was going to say was, just to clarify, if you're the first time tuning in, we do offer this as a class, but there's no reason why you can't stick with us and learn something on, how to just make these. You don't need to have subscribed. We hope that we can inspire you.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
join us and stamp and laugh at us as we just try to figure it out and make it work.
Yeah, please stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a 6x6 piece of designer series paper that I'm going to use. You could use any of those. They would all look beautiful. You would probably just want to change your card base. I'm going to stick with this one. I'm picking up the Lost Lagoon from the sky here. So what you're going to do, and it's going to depend on your design, where you cut. I need my piece to be 5.25 inches. So because I need it to be 5.25 inches, I've got to cut something off of the 6. So I'm going to, I have a lot of extra down here. So I'm going to go and cut it, cut the bottom off. So I'm cutting off 3/4 inch, just like that. But don't throw this away. We're going to use that on our card. And then we've got the image down to 5.25 by 6. Now, I'm going to probably confuse you just a little bit, but I hope I don't. So you're going to cut this, and let me just make sure, depending on your design, but I'm going to cut this 6 by 5.25 paper from my right to my left. Wait, I got to think about it. I'm not, because okay, so that's where I was going with that. I swear I really confused myself, because
just wipe out everything she just said. Let's redo it again.
Yeah.
So, okay, start again.
Yeah, gone. Okay, because I use my trimmer upside down, I have to turn my paper upside down because my cutter is on my left side. Normally it's on your right side, and it would not be an issue. You can cut it right side up. Does that make sense? So because I do mine upside down, I am going to cut 3.5 inches. Cut 3.5 inches. And then I am going to cut 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. It's a little strip. And that's going to leave me this little 2-inch piece. Okay. So let me get those out of there. We're going to keep this one. I can remove this. So I hope I didn't confuse you. Actually,
I think that makes sense. I think when you
yeah.
see it, yeah, it makes sense.
If
Did you show
I
the
use it
card,
like
by the way?
this, if I use it like this, I'd be going this way. And because I use mine upside down, I turn it upside down, then I can still, go that way. Okay. So
did we see the card, by the way?
oh, we didn't see the card. Do you want to see the card?
I think it'd help so that people know why they're cutting the way they're cutting. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. Yes,
That's all right.
this is called I think I call it a flip flap card. So it's utilizing all the designer series paper. So when you open it, see you've got that whole seam there, just like that.
Nice.
It's beautiful. So that's why we need that 3.5 on the front. So I think if you were going to use my same image, you would just make sure you got your main image on the big piece, and then the other two are off to the side. So sorry for that. You're right.
No, it creates such a beautiful scene. I mean, God, my goodness, is that such a pretty card?
So now I'm going to score my card base, and I'm just going to score it at 2 inches and 4.25 inches, which is half, right in half. Okay. So now I'm done with the cutter and the folder. And I'm just going to fold my card in half and then fold that back. And then using my bone folder, I want to give it a good crease. Now it's really easy to assemble this card. You can use liquid adhesive. You can use your seal. That's entirely up to you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. I want to glue just on this piece. This is going to be open, so we don't want to glue it the whole thing. So I'm just going to take my liquid adhesive and I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm going to glue this piece on, keeping it just a little equidistance border on the 3 sides, 1, 2, and 3. Press down. Open your card. You can put a little bit of adhesive here. And it's going to be just on the left side of that seam, just keeping a little border the same, making sure your borders are the same here. And then the last piece goes on the right side of the fold, just like this. Okay. So that's how easy it is to put, whoops, that's the nice thing about liquid adhesive. It's got a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, so there's that's going to form our whole image. When our recipient opens the card, then they can see the beautiful scene.
Look how quickly that came together. My goodness.
It really does. I mean, I confused you, but it really does come together.
You did not.
Well.
You were fine.
So this piece is, again, 5.25, and it's 2 inches because we got a 2-inch piece here and a 2-inch piece here. And this is what we're going to stamp on. So I'm going to get my ink out, and I'm going to get pecan pie. You could use Mossy Meadow on this. You could use a little bit of the New Secret Sea here. You could use Lost Lagoon. I decided to pick up some of this brown. I just wanted to pick up a little bit of that. My front is going to say hello, and I'm stamping that on my very vanilla tag. Whoops, upside down. And I'm going to stamp it over on the left side, because I'm going to cut it off, but I'm going to, I want to put it, it's going to be here, and I'm going to be cutting that off. So that's why. And then I told you to save this little piece of designer series paper. And the reason is because we are going to just use it to decorate our inside like that. I just leave it on the full length, and then I just use my snips to cut that off. And then this can be glued inside of our card. And we're almost done. Just like that.
Pretty.
So
pretty.
Yeah. So that's all covered up just like that. Just a little kind of a bit of a Z fold, just like that. Okay. So now we're going to use this greeting here, but I want to die cut. And I'm going to use a little piece of very vanilla, and I've done this for you, except it looks like I might have to poke a few pieces out. And I die cut those standalone little floral pieces. And I'm just going to take, yes, I do. Let's say, do I have a pokey tool here? I do. I'm just going to poke out. Should have done that in advance, but at least you don't have to watch me die cut. So that's good. I'm going to poke out the pieces of this Queen Anne's lace or goldenrod or whatever it is.
I've seen some where it's like they leave the pieces in, and even that it looks really cute because it's got almost like a two set dimension almost to it whenever you leave those little pieces in there. So don't feel like you have to poke all of them out.
No, that's a good point. I totally agree with you on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
There are a couple times where it's like I want them to stay and they fall out, and then it makes me mad.
Sure. Now I want to put a little bit of color on these. So I'm bringing in 3 colors. I'm using, and you could use anything you wanted. This is really up to you. I've got Calypso Coral, Soft Seafoam, and Pretty in Pink. Do what you would like to do. I'm going to take the Calypso Coral, and I'm just going to pounce just a little bit, and I'm going to just I'm going to try not to get it too much of a mess because I didn't bring a paper towel over here.
There you go. I was just going to say, use your finger. That'll be fine.
Use your finger. Use your finger. And then I'm going to use a little bit of the Pretty in Pink on this, just on the little flowers. I'm going to pounce it on. Okay. And then I'm going to finish everything off with a light, soft seafoam. I was almost going to say these might have enough color on them, but I'm not sure this one does. So I'm going to put the green overall on this and then add a little bit to the leaves. I have been using a glass mat so much that, Betsy, that I forgot to bring over a little bit of wipey. So
used to just doing it and not having to think twice about it.
Yeah, I changed where I am. So I think that's pretty good. Just like that. Okay, so there's our little floral. I'm going to put the green one in the middle, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that. I got the hello right here, and I'm going to take some dimensionals, which I had, but oh yes, here they are. I'm sorry, they're a little bit out of my reach. Okay, so here's my dimensionals, and my hello is on this side. I'm just going to lay those down. Heavy dimensionals because I'm going to use those to hold my little flowers, and I'm just going to pick them up just like this. Let's see there. So that's just just picking up the flowers with my dimensionals. If you feel like you need to add a little more adhesive, but I don't think I'm going to need to, I'm going to just go ahead and lay that down. This one turned a little bit. I like it right there. I'm going to leave a little bit of room for a couple of embellishments. Okay, so I've just put that down. It's add a little bit of what's the word I'm trying to say? A little bit of a
dimension?
Focal point.
There you go.
Focal point. And then I want to finish off with a couple of these. These are beautiful. They're pressed flower motifs, but I'll tell you, they are heavy. They're like, I swear they're like solid brass or something. They are so beautiful. I love them. Did I leave enough room to put 2 on
If
there?
you have ordered those, for anybody that's ordered those, if you've ordered them and you get them in the mail, they might be a little wonky on the sheet. And again, I think it's because of the weight.
Yeah, because they're heavy, they do tend to be a little wonky, but honestly, I got some that were a little wonky and they're still very usable.
Yeah,
so,
you slide them right back into place.
Yeah,
they're perfectly fine.
It's because they're heavy. They are really heavy. And the other thing I want to point out is I was noticing today is I think these tarnish a little bit, and not in a bad way. When I say tarnish, they really come into their own antique look, because I had just gotten a package and I looked at it and I thought, well, those are awful, like bright and brassy. And then these that I've had for a while have kind of come into its own color, and I'm not sad about it. I really love it. So there's
nice
for one, just like that. And then you're going to want to stamp your envelope. You could put one of the floral images or whatever on that. So
pretty.
We're ready for card number 2. And this time I'll show it to you first. How about that? Here's card number 2. I
Oh
think
my
I'm sinking.
goodness.
I think my chair is sinking. I feel myself going down and down. So remember when I showed you the dies, there was this a frame. So I'm using the outer frame, and I've run it through the damask folder, and then we're going to do a little bit of coloring with an oldie but a goodie. We're going to use watercolor pencils. I love to bring those out, especially when I'm doing something that I want a very soft look with. I don't want a harsh marker. I don't want a darker blend. I really want a soft look, and this was where I wanted that look. So that is exactly why I love to work with the watercolor pencils. So in your packet, you've got the card is going the other direction. So it's going to be 11 by 4 1/4. You've got a little bit for your greeting, a little bit for your stamping and die cutting. Here's a central image. You're going to cut your own designer series paper. Use whatever you want. I use the this one because it picks up that petal pink so beautifully. You're going to need a little bit of granny apple green. We've included it for your die cutting. Here's for your frame, and then this is just a piece for your inside. I pre-stamped it. I'm here for you always, and put a little bit of flowers on it, so that's all ready to go. I've pre-die cut this. I used the frame stamp, and then I ran it through the damask folder just like this. So it's pretty, but we're going to make it prettier. Okay. Does that make sense? We're going to make it prettier.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
do is this is something I really love to do, to pick up some of that raised embossed image and do it with, you could do it with anything. Okay. So I like to use a sponge dauber with this, and there's these little images. So I'm using a sponge dauber, and I'm using some white craft ink, and I'm just lightly, and as I do it, I think, oh, I don't know if it's too dark in here, if you can see it. I'll hold it up to the camera, but I think you can see those little damask images kind of pop, and it gives it a little bit of a distress look. But that's not where we're going to stop. We're going to distress this a little bit more. But I am just going to take some of that white. It kind of gives it a little chalky,
Mm-hmm.
antique feel, like if you were using, actually, like if you're doing a frame, and I've done this before, where you use a little bit of rub and buff on it to really make the things pop. So, okay, so
Pretty.
here, see how that look just makes it a little distressed, but we're going to take it a one step further. And I'm going to take, let me close this so I don't get ink all over me. And I'm going to take my snips, which I have right here. And I'm going to take the edge of my snips, and I'm going to distress this. And all I'm doing is I'm rubbing that sharp edge of my snips, I've got them open, along the paper, and making a little bit of a, and I don't even mind if it rips a little. And actually there's places where I kind of want it to rip. Like here, I'm going to dig in a little farther. I'm going to let it rip a little bit on the edge, on the corner. And that just
This
gives
is,
it that.
I love
Go
this.
ahead.
This is one of my favorite techniques. I do
Yeah.
this a lot. I like that
Yeah.
vintagey look.
Yeah, it just gives it that, yeah, it's very soft
Mm-hmm.
vintagey look for sure. This was a little hard to have done for you in advance, so you're just going to watch me distress all four sides.
You're good.
And especially when you come around some of those half damask images, that really distresses nicely because the fibers are already broken down just a little bit for you.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry if it wrinkles. You could actually ball it up a little bit and get even a more fun look. Okay, so now I've distressed it. I've kind of just, you can see it here, especially where I've just
Nice.
pulled those fibers open and made them look really antique-y. So let's put our card together. We're going to fold our card base in half. This is petal pink, and it's 11 by 4 1/4, like I said. So just the different fold. And then to do this frame, I'm using I got them right here. Hold on. Hello. These are the foam adhesive strips. I like
Mm-hmm.
the foam adhesive strips because They're actually just a smidge. I feel like they're a smidge thicker than a dimensional, and I want this to really pop. So I'm going to use this foam strip and put it around my frame on the back side.
It's a great way to get extra lift.
Yeah, extra lift, exactly, and that's what I want. Thank you. Sometimes I can't think of the words. So, yeah,
Your
just a
brain and
little
my
bit.
brain make one
Yes,
excellent
one
brain.
brain. Yes, I love it. You could just go around. You could just turn it like that and press it down and snip it. So then I've got my frame that's all ready to go. I actually think I'll take the push it all down. I'll take this
Now that
off.
you're doing that, it makes me think of a shaker for a shaker card. You could
Yes,
easily
it
do
does.
that with
Yeah.
that die cut. You could easily make a shaker card out of that.
Yeah, that would be really nice. We're just going to use it as a raised frame, but you're right. You're right. And the benefit of keeping it in one is you just have to pull it off. So I'm going to set that one aside, just like that. We're going to work on the inside. So we've got a little bit of designer series paper pre-cut. That's going to be just laid down in the center. Got to get it centered, just like so. And then set that aside. This is, we are going to stamp. I did this for you in advance. I just stamped the floral image here. I stamped it in basic gray, and then I die cut the two leaves, leaves. And then I'm going to take my Calypso coral and I'm going to make another mess, and I'm just going to sponge on a little bit of an edge. You can make it as light or as dark as you want. I know my paper is petal pink, but if I do it really light like this, it's actually a really nice accent, a match. So wipe. And that's just going to be my center. Just because I didn't pause me. Why am I hearing myself all of a sudden? So I did that little bit of coloring because I didn't want that stark vanilla. I wanted to soften it up just a little bit. And you hear me say this, and I know sometimes I can be a broken record, but I'm talking to someone who's never seen me before. But I do that because I believe, no, it's doing it again. God darn it. Hold on.
Okay, pausing. Give your hands a little wave. There you go.
I don't remember what I was talking about.
You were talking about lightening up the center of that with, and you were saying that I'm like a broken record and I say it all the time.
But then I thought I pulled out this stuff, so that's okay.
Yeah, I don't remember where you were going with that.
Yeah, I forgot. So, okay, so let's go ahead and do a little bit of coloring on our flower with our watercolor pencil. So I'm going to tell you which colors I have, but please use whatever you want. I'm using Flirty Flamingo. I've got a Melon Mambo. I've got Granny Apple Green and a little bit of Old Olive, and then Calypso Coral. Because we don't have a petal pink, I'm using Calypso Coral to kind of bring out that same thing. So let's start with our greenery. And I like to really just scribble. Oh, there's a little piece I didn't knock out. I like to just scribble because anything that I know is going to be green, because my blender pen is where all the action is, if that makes sense. It just, I don't have to be really super careful here. I'm going to pull a little green into the stems. And it can be kind of, I'll say, a little bit of sloppy. It's okay. I'm going to put a little bit of the Old Olive down where they're just coming out of the flower. It's a little shadowy, shadowy here, a little bit of shadow here. Okay. And then I'll take my blending. This is a blender pen. This is a glycerin based product. And by just touching the watercolor pencil, it turns it into I'll say a watercolor or a paint. So see how that's just making that. I'm going dark and I'm pulling it into the light Hopefully my fingers aren't in the way.
It just helps it spread so nicely.
Just
Smooth.
it melts the pencil. That's how I always think of it. It's kind of melting the pencil. I'm pulling that green color into, and it's okay that it doesn't stay right on the stem. I don't mind that at all. I want it to kind of envelop this whole image. So there's my greens. Those are done. And then I'm going to do a little bit of the Calypso. And again, I'm going to just scribble at the base of each petal. I try not to fussy on the pencils. I try to literally, when I say scribble, you can see I'm literally scribbling. I do not fuss on pencils because once I pull this blender pen in, it's going to melt all that pencil and turn it into a beautiful paint. And my scribble lines are going to be gone. So I don't
Mary Ellen, I
really.
got to walk away from the computer for 1 second. I'll be back. Okay, hon?
Yeah. Should I
All right.
keep going?
Yeah, keep going. I just got to walk away for a minute. Okay.
Okay, sure.
You keep going.
Okay. All right. So I'm just, as I was saying, as I use my blender pen, those scribble marks that I say in jest they melt. So it's not going to look like a scribbly pencil anymore. Now it's going to look like a pretty little light color. I've added a little light. Now I'm going to come in with a little bit of Flirty Flamingo, maybe highlight a little bit more of the pinks. You do as much or as little as you want. I'm doing, it was very light. I'm going to add a little bit. I'm not going to go everywhere. Just like that. Just is adding a third dimension. And then in the center, I'm going to take the Melon Mambo and I'm going to focus that more right down here in the middle and bring in a little bright color to the middle of each of my flowers, just like that. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to kind of put this card together. So let me get my pencils out of the way and we can stamp our greeting. I've got clips of coral here and then I've got the greeting somewhere right here. I had it thinking, oh, here it is. Thinking of you. And I've just stamped it on my little strip. We've given you plenty so that if you make a boo-boo, you can just trim it. That's what we do here. I've got a little trim there. I'm just doing a straight trim. I'm not going to do, and you could flag it. You could do it on angle. That's up to you. And I'm going to add a little bit of this greenery with a little bit of the liquid adhesives on my card. This greenery is pretty. It's got a little dimension to it, a little popped up little centers. I'm going to just lay that one down there. I'm going to lay this next to it. Off over here. Okay, and now I'm ready to put my frame on. I've already taken the backing off. And I'm going to just frame my card. Just like that. You'll have a little more on the right and left side than top to bottom. And then I'm going to take this floral and I'm going to really pop it up. So I want to get my dimensionals. And again, I've always misplaced them. Well, I just had them a minute ago. I don't have Betsy here to help me. Over there, they're on the card. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my dimensionals and I'm going to pop my card up. Dimensional. Just like this. Okay. I want this to be a little, I want this to be overlapping the frame just a bit. I want that greenery to show. So I've got a little dimensional here. If you feel like that's too, if it's pushing in too much, you might want to double dimensional. I feel like in this case, it was a little bit, it was pressing in just a little bit. So I'm going to add a second dimensional. You can just stack them on top of each other and it gives you a little bit extra height, just like that. And I'm going to put it a little bit on an angle. Okay, just like that. And then I want to add my thinking of you. And the best way to do that, again, is just to use a little strip along the edge of your dimensionals. Utilize all this. Don't throw away those little edges. You're going to need those. Now, I'm going to make sure that I'm putting it just in the middle because one end's going to be on the frame and one end's going to be on the floral. So I don't want to put dimensionals there because then it will just not work
Pretty.
quite right. So
that's very, very pretty.
Yeah, and then all we have to do is add a little bow. I forgot to mention the ribbon. This is a basic beige. It's very soft. It's like a little linen ribbon. It's very easy to work with. And I just made a little bow, and I'm just going to take a little mini glue dot and add that to my bow, and then put that down on my stem just under my greeting, just like that. So there's my card. I'm going to add, remember I pre-stamped, I'm always here for you. Pre-stamp that, thinking of you, I'm always here for you. And we're just going to put that in the middle and then we'll stamp our envelope and there's our beautiful
pretty
framed card. It's very soft.
So pretty.
It's so soft and pretty. I really like it. So those are my two cards.
Yay.
Yay.
Love them.
Right. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Want to move over to my two cards?
Yes, I can't wait.
All right. All right. Let's switch you over to my desktop. Okay.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Let me show you my cards. And it is so funny to me because Mary Ellen and I, we kind of make our cards separate. We don't get together. We don't talk, we send ideas back and forth, but she kind of does her thing. I kind of do my thing. We both have very different styles, but we complement each other, which is one of the reasons why I love this so much. Her using the craft white ink this month. And I used it as well. And I don't think either one of us knew that the other was using it, right?
No, I absolutely didn't know. Yeah, no, I didn't know. And I'm looking at yours and I'm thinking, that's beautiful. So yeah, can't wait.
Same kind of technique, right? I'm just going to show you a little bit of a different way of doing it. And then the same way with the second card, you're going to see we almost have identical as far as the second card, as far as like the frame. And we were like on sync this month, I'm telling you.
Yeah, we sure were.
Absolutely. This one is using the new Secret C. This is one of the new ink colors. I'm in love with the Secret C. It is a very dark, dark blue. It does have a blue cast to it. You can see it when you see it in the catalog, it might kind of look black a little bit, but it is a blue. Okay. We're using some designer paper on this, and I want to show you how to do this like a watercolor wash almost, right?
Yeah.
I guess is maybe what you would call that.
A whitewash.
A whitewash. That's it. Thank you. Yeah. So this is the card we're going to make. And I stamped my envelope. So in the packet, what they got was they, of course, got an envelope. This is the designer series paper that I chose to use for this one. We already pre-cut one of the textured notes rectangles, which I love those textured notes. So we went ahead and pre-did that. This is gray granite, by the way, and then a piece of the Secret C and then the Secret C base. Now, when you cut this frame, so this is the one that Mary Ellen was talking about. This is that frame that's going to create that outside image. So you have actually two frames that it's going to create. And we're going to use for my card this middle frame. So when I cut this on this designer paper, let me kind of move this out of the way. When I cut this on this designer paper, I kind of lined it up this way because I wanted to see that variance of the shade go down. So I cut it this way, and this is what I got. Just like that. Right? So now I want to use just this inside piece, but these two pieces I would throw like in my stamp set because I could use those on another or throw them in with my designer paper because I could easily use these for something else later, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So you're going to die cut a piece of designer paper just so that you can get this smaller frame. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring this guy in. This is the piece of Secret C that you have. We're going to go ahead and run that through the embossing folder. And if you don't have this folder, that's okay. Any folder that you have would work for this. I went ahead and used the Damask folder. And I'm going to show you how to do a little bit of a whitewash on this one. Now, when you get your stamp sets, inside your stamp sets, usually your stamps, especially the photopolymer, they come between two clear pieces of plastic, right? Yeah. Well, you can keep those and use those. And that's what I'm using here. You could use a little piece of a window sheet. That would work as well. But don't throw away those pieces of plastic that are in your stamp sets because you could use them for a technique like this. So I'm going to have, so you can't really see it, but there is a piece of acrylic or a piece of plastic or acrylic right there. So I'm going to use the re-inker and I'm going to add just a little glob of the craft white. It's a pigment ink that's different than our regular watercolor ink, water-based ink. And what I want to do is I'm going to use a water painter. Now, the water painter actually has retired. I think it was a manufacturing issue that they couldn't get it, so they're looking for a new manufacturer. But if you have just a paintbrush at home, a paintbrush would work. And I'm going to add some water to my paint, right? My ink. I'm just going to add a little bit of water, and I'm just adding the water to that to get it nice and kind of mixed up, right? There we go. And I'm actually going to put the cap back on here because I don't need that quite yet. And I'm going to use a blending brush, and I'm just going to pick some of that up. And I'm going to very lightly, and I am going to bring in a piece of scratch paper because I don't have something for my mat. I'm very lightly just going to kind of swipe this back and forth.
That's cool.
Right? Just swiping it back and forth. I can pick up a little bit more. I'm kind of starting off a little bit so I don't get a big clump of ink on my paper. But all I'm doing is just giving it a little bit of like a whitewash. You see it?
Yeah.
Now whereas Mary Ellen wanted her damask to kind of show with white, I don't. I want mine to be darker. So I'm going to bring in just a tissue and I'm going to rub over top. And what I'm doing is kind of giving it, I think I used a paper towel before, not a tissue. Let me grab a paper towel. I'll be right back. I think it'll work better. Here we go. I used a paper towel, and all I did was just kind of rub it to get some of that white ink off of those raised pieces, right? So, because I wanted that to be just a little bit darker. All right.
That's cool. I never thought about like adding the water to it, and I like the brush strokes on there.
Giving it just a little bit of a lighter shade, right?
Goes right with the designer series paper that you've got there. That's got that brush stroke. So I love that. Yeah, it's nice.
Yep. This one's not showing as well with the darkness, but this one you can kind of see how it pops a little bit more. You see that?
That one feels good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a matter of like having this kind of be wet and then just wiping it off, and it'll come off of those raised sections. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one just so you can kind of see the difference.
I say, could you take just a little sanding block if you have one, or emery board?
You probably could. And I don't know that I have one here, but you could take a light sanding block or even like a light nail file or a light piece of sandpaper and just kind of go over it. And that would also lighten that up, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. So that's where we're going to set that aside. And I'm going to bring this piece in. And the stamps we're using for this one is I'm using this image right here. Okay. And I'm going to stamp that with my Secret C ink. And I'm going to stamp it into the corner of this die cut. And I just lined up that corner of that leaf with the corner of my die cut and stamped. If you don't have a glass mat at home, make sure you're using some sort of mat below you, just so you make sure you get a nice solid image on that. While I have it out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my inside as well. And I'm going to turn that to the other corner like that. Okay. Now I want to also give this just a little bit of like a wash, right? So now I'm going to bring back in that water painter, and I want it to be nice and kind of not quite so dark, right? Not quite so dark. So I want to really kind of spread it out a little bit. And I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to paint in those petals.
It really makes them pop.
Right? And it kind of gives it just that, yeah, it kind of gives it that white. I just love this look.
I do too. It's very soft.
Right? Don't smear a lot. Don't paint a lot. It's like kind of a quick and easy kind of thing. Just add it and move on. Because you don't want to smear the water-based ink that is on there. You just want to kind of add a little bit of an accent to it. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I'm going to go ahead and do that for my inside as well. So it's just nice little brush strokes to kind of add that white in there. And yeah, I think what I did, Mary Ellen, with that other one is I think I had it much more wet. I think I had that one a little on the dry side. So that might be why that dried so fast.
Well, that makes sense.
There we go. Right? Okay. While this dries and this dries, I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting on here. And I am using the one that says, "Thank you for everything." And that is from the Beautiful Motifs. So I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to stamp that right around there. Okay. And then I am a person that I like a splatter. I am a splatter girl. I cannot help myself. It's just one of those things that I do. I probably drive people crazy in my classes, but I love that vintagey kind of look. So I'm going to get this nice and wet, get it nice and full. And then I'm just going to give this a little tap. Okay. Now you could do it a couple ways. You could flick it off of your lid. You can flick it off your finger. I find that if I just tap it with my finger, it's usually enough to get that splatter look. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it.
Right? It just kind of pulls it together a little bit. And then of course I like my inside to match. So I'm going to add a little bit of white splatter on my inside as well. And I think I got it all over my cardstock in front of me. All right. And then set this aside. You can easily clean out your brush. I tend to keep like one set aside just for whites, so that I can always go back and use it again. Right. All right. My card base. That's going to go in the inside eventually. This is going on the front. This guy here, as soon as this dries, we'll give it a little flick there. I think that's why I had the tissue. This is why I had the tissue. Put that tissue down on top of it, kind of push, and it'll take up any extra water that might be on there. Okay. Just kind of dries it a little bit faster just to do that. Okay. I'm going to put this and this together. Now it's got a giant hole in the center. So I know that I'm only going to apply glue right on those very ends of the sides. So I'm going to put a little bit on here, 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 and here. You don't need much, right? Just a little bit. Because all I want to do is put these two together to create a border. Because you're going to add dimensionals behind it to kind of pop that up. So all I'm doing is just pretty much putting those together so they stay together. All right. Then I took a little bit of the twine. I buried it somewhere. It's around here somewhere. There it is. I took a little bit of the Baker's Essential Twine. I put this behind. You could tie a bow if you wanted to. I just tied a knot. I thought this could be a relatively masculine card, even though it's got a flower on it. There's nothing wrong with sending flowers. You could make this a masculine card. So I just wanted it to have like a little knot here. I can get my fingers. You wanted your brain to work. I need my fingers to work. Okay. Put that where I want it to go. Trim off any extras that I don't need. And then I'm going to add dimensionals to this. I am using a dimensional sheet from one of the kits that I got. Look how big the dimensional sheet was on this thing.
Wow.
I love the fact that I got all these dimensionals in that kit, and I can just keep using the extras. Isn't that cute?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot of dimensionals. Yeah, we didn't need near that many for the kit. So it's like, wow, I can keep using more and more.
We love our dimensionals, so.
We do. All right. I love it so much. I mean, well, actually, I didn't double this up. All right. So I'm going to put dimensionals on this one, put that there. And then this is going to be glued down to the front. And then this piece, go ahead and put my tissue on there. Make sure I don't have any extra water. Add this to my inside. There we go. Easy, right?
That's pretty.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, it makes me want to get out my white crafting refill and.
Exactly. Just, yeah, you can do anything with it.
I'm so sorry about that.
You're fine. You're good. So there is my first card. Okay. All right. So there's the first one. The second one uses that same frame again. And this is so funny how much this card looks like your card, but it's different and it just has a little bit of a different style. And here is my second card. Let me get that out of the way.
Pretty. That's one of my favorite papers. I love it. Love it.
I know, right? It's
and I can't wait to see because it looks. I can see some little changes you've done. But I have.
I added a couple little changes here, and I realized that I might need to take a second and emboss after I get so far into this because I'm like, oh, you know what? You didn't emboss that yet. Okay. So what I've done, just a little, I have the same kind of the pressed flowers that Mary Ellen's using. I have my card base, which is a Mossy Meadow card base. So let me go ahead and take that and fold that. Basic Beige. It's one of my, I'm a big Basic Beige fan. This is a piece of Basic Beige that's going to go right smack in the middle. Nice and easy. On front of my card base like that. And then I have a piece that's going to go in the inside. I've been doing that a lot lately where I've been doing different colors other than white in the inside. So my other card that I just did was a gray granite in the inside. This has Basic Beige in the inside. I'm all about cost effectiveness. So I know that it's not going to be, white paper is pretty expensive. So I get that. There's alternative ways of getting around that by using other shades. In the packet that we sent, we gave a full half a sheet of paper, and you should be able to get 2 of these frames out of one of those. So, and when you do that again, just like we did before, when you cut that, you're going to get these 3 pieces, right? So you get these 3 pieces, and we're going to use the larger of the pieces. Again, you can kind of put these aside, save these for another project later down the road. So I'm going to take this envelope, of course, throw that out of the way. Now, this is the paper that I'm using for this card. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to use it, but how to use it was the question, right? So I loved seeing that through that frame. So I want to get the most out of this paper, just like I want to get the most out of the rest of my paper. So I cut this at 3 inches right down the middle. And when I did, this is what I got. So you could make 2 cards out of this. You could do it with this one or this one. It does not matter. It's totally up to you. We're going to use this one in this example. So it's just cutting the paper in half. You could then use these other halves for something else. Just like Mary Ellen, I thought this, I just wanted to add a little softness. So like with her very vanilla center, she wanted to soften it up just a little bit. Same way here. So I'm going to bring in some petal pink. I'm going to bring in a blending brush. Okay. And I'm going to lightly add some shadings. Can you see the difference between those two?
I sure can.
right? Is it fine the way it is? Absolutely. But
Sure.
I thought I want to make that petal pink just pop a little bit. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add shading right to my flowers on the designer series paper.
I love it.
Right? You could add a little bit more around the background if you wanted to, if you felt like you wanted to have more, but all you're doing is adding some shading there so that now when I put it together, it just kind of pops a little bit more, right? I loved this font at the bottom. I just think that is so pretty, having that font at the bottom. So I want to include that in my frame. So what I did was I went ahead again and I added a little bit of glue here, 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 and here. Okay. And I'm going to center that where I want it to go. And I'm going to pick up that wording and I'm going to go right there because it is pretty close on this background. So I'm going to do it there and you can kind of see how it just kind of fits.
Yeah.
Right? Now what I want to do, just because it's easier for me, you could have measured that. For me, it's just as easy to pop this open and just trim off that extra, just like that. Right? And there's my piece. Now what I want to do is I am going to run this through the embossing, right? So I'm going to run this through. Remember that your embossing folders have this line here. So when you run this through, you can line this right up with that line so that you know that you have your design going straight. Okay?
Yeah.
So when you line this up and you run it through your die cutting machine and through the magic of video, you can see that mine has some embossing on it already. So you see this here? I don't know if you can see it very well in this light.
Yeah,
There you
can.
go.
Yeah, you really can.
You see it? Because I thought the whole thing needed to have that embossing to give it almost like a continuous look, like it goes together, right?
That's pretty.
Okay, and then I'm going to pull in a piece of this ribbon that Mary Ellen was just telling you about. It is beautiful ribbon. It is so soft, so easy to work with. I am using a pretty large piece, probably about 23 inches here, but I want to be able to kind of create this big bow on here. Now, mailing it, you might want to have a little bit of extra postage, or this might be something that you just kind of hand to somebody versus putting it in the mail. But what I want to do here,
the ribbon's pretty soft, so I wouldn't hesitate to mail that. I think it'd be okay,
yeah,
but sometimes I just add an extra ounce stamp on and it usually goes through.
That's usually what I do too. I just add an extra little ounce here or there. Yep, I just add an extra to it. So what I'm doing is I'm just tying this in a pretty bow, if I can get my fingers to work, so that I get a nice like loopy little bow on there. And I'm going to slide that over towards the side here, towards this end. And I'm going to slide it up. That's why I like kind of tying my bows on here, because then I can always adjust and move it wherever I need to, right? I'm going to trim off my extras. Come here. There we go. And then this guy is going to get popped up again. So this is going to be, and if you don't want that ribbon to move too much, you can add a dimensional right over top of it. I'm going to add a couple extra dimensionals here. Give it some lift. All right. And then this is going to go on my card front. And it sort of fits. It's pretty big, right? This frame is pretty big. So it's going to go centered side to side, but also centered top to bottom. So it's got like about 1/8 of an inch at the bottom, top and the bottom where it lines up. But you can kind of see how those go together, right? I liked the pressed flowers, so I'm going to go ahead and use a couple of these. You could use take your pick tool, but it kind of slides off there pretty easily.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Yeah, they are. You can kind of grab a hold of them pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and put those in. And then for my inside, what I did was I went ahead and stamped I'm Here For You Always in the Mossy Meadow. And then I stamped one of the floral images from that set with the petal pink, because that way then they kind of matched, right? So that it all kind of blends together.
Yeah.
And then you could stamp your envelope the same way with that petal pink one. What do you think?
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love that card.
Right? It's so funny how we did not plan it, but how somehow or another both of our cards kind of ended up coming out very similar to each other.
Well, they each had a similar technique. Yes, you're right.
Yep.
Very close.
Yep. It worked out pretty well. Okay. Did we want to talk about what we're doing next month? Hold, folks. Let me go back to our faces here for a second. All right, there we are. I think we decided we're doing the cheers and sips, right?
Yes,
is that right?
That's right.
All right, hold on. I actually have mine here. Hold on.
Oh, good.
I have mine here. Cheers and sips. Cheers and sips, folks. So this is the bundle we're going to be featuring next month. Cheers and sips. It's got the most adorable designer series paper in it. Super cute with all the little cups, and the dies that match it are great. So this is what we're going to be doing in June. So if you're interested in the June kit, make sure you reach out to us. We can get you signed up for it. We usually close registration around the 10th of the month, so we have time to order all the supplies and everything to go with it, right?
Right. And if you're looking through your new catalog, it's not in there because it's an online exclusive. There is a scrapbooking kit that's in the catalog that uses that same paper, I believe. Am I right on that? I
think so.
I'm right on that. But then the bundle is an online exclusive, and you know, we can't stress enough, go online and look, because it's the wave of the future, and the things online are amazing. I've been telling everybody that's been coming here, like, please go online, because you just miss so much. It's just beautiful. So
I ordered so much from the online exclusives. A lot of what the new sets are that I've been playing with lately have been part of the online exclusives. I mean, there's just so many offerings there, from sweets to bundles to stamps to ribbon to embellishments. I mean, there's so much available on there as well. So don't feel like you're stuck to just that catalog. There's a lot more out there just on that online store.
Yeah, same. I have more online exclusives than catalog things. I mean, the catalog things are nice, but
yeah, absolutely.
Where it's at.
It is. And make sure when you are online, please remember to opt in for rewards, opt in for marketing. That way, then any orders you're placing that are over $20 US, over $20 US, you will start to earn 10% in rewards. So you want to make sure that you're doing that and don't miss out on putting money in your bank, right? Putting money into your account that you can spend later.
It's really been paying off for people. I know, for your customers and my customers. And if nothing else, they think of it as like being a savings towards their shipping too, right? So people talk about that, and they can use your rewards and earn their shipping basically for free. So you can really take advantage of that.
Yep. So be sure to opt in. Be sure to opt in for those. Reach out to either one of us if you have any questions. We'd love to see what you're making. So please share with us what you're doing, and know that we'll be back next month. And oh, by the way, our tutorials, we both have PayHip stores where past tutorials that we've done through Stamp It Your Way are available for purchase. I think both of us have links in our YouTube videos in the description. I think we both have links to those. So if you want to check out some of our older tutorials, be sure to do that.
Sounds good.
Excellent. All right. Phew, we got through it.
And we got to spend time with each other and see each other again, which is
we did. Yeah,
something
makes us happy.
Yeah, makes us happy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We do this for us. You're just along for the ride.
And if you've watched this far,
Yes. We appreciate it.
yeah, we do. Yes,
All
we
right,
do.
everybody, have a wonderful rest of your May, and we will see you in June.
Sounds good. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.